It's been a busy week at Meta, Kate, and they just sent employees an internal memo, and it said, every keystroke you take, every cursor movement, every conversation, we're logging it all because you are helping us build AI. And by the way, next month they have 8,000 layoffs coming up, so, probably nothing. So no opt-out for them. They're the training data. And obviously, they don't get a say.
That all sounds dystopian. What are they actually saying this is about?
Before we judge them, we should hear them out, Kate. And here's their goal. What they're trying to do is they're trying to build AI agents that can do our white-collar computer work on their own. They're running into a problem, though, which is teaching AI to use this software requires actual real examples of humans using this software at work. You're not going to find this out on Reddit to the extent you need it. That web data cannot give you that. Folks are usually not posting the work they're doing on confidential information as a YouTube tutorial. So what's their solution? Meta was like, you know what? Let's just use our workforce. And they sent this memo that said, you can help us just by doing your daily work. So this tool will run on approved apps, call it chat, coding platforms, and basically, like we said, it captures keystrokes, how you move your cursor, and also, very important, the before and after making a decision. What happens, whether they roll it back. So basically, this is what it looks like when you run out of training data and you're just scraping it from whatever you can, right? And that's when I want to ask everyone watching, have you ever wondered yourself what are the things that your employer is tracking? We want to hear it on the comments. Maybe you even got some juicy stories for us. Wink, wink. Let us know.
It's a really unfortunate circle to square where you have layoffs happening on one side of the business, and then you are basically harvesting data from your employees on the other side of the business to train the digital employees that are, in theory, going to take over their seats. So there's no opt-out. There's no way to opt out of this. It's not every employee. It was a group of employees that are going to be tracked, but you can't say, no, thank you. It's on every work-issued device, every employee, regardless of their role. I saw a tweet around this, and it was somebody who was like, asking for a friend, can somebody give me some advice on how to get a personal computer? But I think that was sort of far and wide the reaction. Employees called it dystopian. This was just invasive and made them feel uncomfortable. Meta has this sort of framed PR line around this, managers can't see your data. It's not going to be used for performance reviews. They said they were going to filter sensitive content, but they didn't say exactly how. And it just seems like probably whatever they want to do, use it for, they're going to do, basically. I mean, I think that's how I would read into that.
It's safe to assume that's what you should read, because if we go back to the past, just a couple of weeks ago, it promised it wouldn't spy on you with these AI smart glasses, and then, actually didn't turn out that way. So I don't know if I would really take Meta at their word.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you're not. Well, you are paranoid, but for good reason. I mean, the smart glasses were recording people using the bathroom in some of their most intimate moments, which is totally unacceptable. And human workers in other places were seeing that video feed.
Speaking of these workers, right? Because you said there's no opt-out, but is this something that affects every Meta employee worldwide? Is this a certain geography? How is that working?
Well, funny you should mention that. This program is gathering data in the U.S. only. Is that because the United States has the best workers? No. Is it because it has the best data capture technology? No. It's because in the EU, they had to exclude workers entirely because the GDPR, the law that makes data collection essentially illegal, wouldn't let them. And so, they couldn't surveil their employees in Europe. So they decided to make it a U.S. only project. To me, this is like Bossware gone terribly wrong, right? So if you're familiar with Bossware, it's like in the pandemic age, right? When people all started working from home, there were all these companies that propped up that employers could spy on their employees. Were they moving their mouse? Were they looking at their screen? They even were able to port in with a camera to like check their eye movements. And it's all just really gross stuff. That was already invasive. But in this particular scenario, they're doing all of those things, but they're turning it into a data set to replicate you so that your job will be taken over by a robot. And that is just so many layers of ick, I just don't even know where to begin.
And you'd mentioned, actually, I remember you mentioning Bossware when we did that Alpha School episode about how it was tracking students. And now it's nothing new. It's been tracking workers since forever. But one thing that it was interesting that we're going to see now on screen is Charles Roulette, the Business Insider journalist that broke the story. He was on CBS, and basically he said the following.
That this is basically tech workers training themselves out of a job, teaching an AI how to do exactly what they do every day.
What I think here is that what Meta is building, their narrative of this smarter software, is a gigantic yes, but, right? Because at the end of the day, what they're saying is we want these AI agents to learn from you, so they can do your job the same way that when you put a call center in a country, you just send the people from the previous country to go train them, these cheaper employees who would be doing the job until they found a cheaper country to go, train that people who would replace them. That's the story of outsourcing, right? So it's like a new, more dystopian version of that. Now, the thing is, right, they're saying this underlying goal is the automation of white-collar work. Andrew Bosworth, a Meta CTO, he basically said it out loud. The vision we're building towards is one where agents primarily do the work and our role is to direct, review, and help them improve, which basically means you're going to be training AI bots all day and hitting approve, cancel, and that means probably the minute we can, your job will be outsourced to a country where we can pay cents on the dollar.
Oh, you're making it so much worse. Why every time you talk about this stuff, you make it sound even worse than how I saw it.
There's news. I don't know. There's more. But Meta is not the only company doing this. Months ago, OpenAI was caught earlier this year asking contractors to upload real-world documents, PowerPoints, spreadsheets from previous jobs as training data. Old startups are actually selling, like literally, when a company fails and you go and buy their shares for cheap. Same thing with Slack conversations, Jira tickets, whatever they can sell for training, it's being sold. So, like we said, we have this data training crisis. It's real. And what companies decided is, take it from humans that can't say no by any means.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like at what point when you sign up to go work at Meta and you want to help build AI, you want to be part of that team, at what point does your role shift and it becomes something that you have no say about and no agency over? And it's not that you're giving your work hours and expertise to build the future of AI, but you're also giving yourself in a way that is invasive.
So the story started as AI will do the boring work so you humans can go read poetry and enjoy life. But what this Meta thing is revealing is that it might be a little bit less poetry and a little bit more click, 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 because that boring work of teaching AI is being offloaded back onto humans, but it's not Mark Zuckerberg doing it.
Yeah.
It's you, me, without consent, without a choice. So we actually called this out on our first episode. I want to play that clip very quickly. You got this gigantic workforce all over the world. Let's say you figure out the legal aspect. What's preventing me as a company to just train for free? I think us getting paid to train these replacements, that's wishful thinking.
Like it's already happening and we're not getting paid.
So it seems like the real labor of this AI era we're living on is not on the coding or how you prompt. It's basically what you do as a human when you work every day. And that labor is being extracted for free.
Yeah, well, good job, Meta. I'm going to give you a slow clap because you both put that news story out there, as well as a news story about laying off 10% of your workforce in the same news cycle, as if you thought maybe we wouldn't catch wind of it. So I think, if I were to give you a couple little notes, like maybe allow an opt out, that would be good. That would be fair. And then, at the same time, maybe compensate those employees for their data. What do you think?
All right. And this is a great opportunity to ask everyone in the chat. Do you think that this is something employees should be compensated for? Or is this something that when you go work for a tech company, you should assume you sign up for it and just get over yourself? I want to hear all the takes, especially the spicy ones in the comments. So let us know. And speaking of spicy takes and Bossware, we got an episode that has been getting a lot of love by trolls recently about Alpha School and how it's revolutionizing education as a dismantle the U.S. Department of Education, how AI is helping education become better than ever. Check it out. Keep on watching. We're probably all training something anyway, so